ladies and gentlemen, it's lightning round. It is not Tuesday. It is Thursday. It's kind of weird, but it's not. We don't have Britt coming straight from the nukes. We have her here from start to finish. It's Nick Cap season. It's fantasy championship season. How we doing?
We're actually a little late today because I was the only one that didn't have a knit hat on, and I had to get one. I will not be left out. So.
Yep, we made you feel like the odd man out, and that was our mistake.
It's just not happening.
Nobody puts Coop in a corner.
That's right, dude. That's right. So Here we are, all of us with similar hats, and we all decided together to wear them. So feeling pretty good.
Yeah. I'm in a group chat. Got a bunch of group chats going with, fantasy finals going on. People are being dingbats as they always are when it comes to fantasy championships, but that's all fun and part of the game. In what world, though, do you pick up 4 defenses and put?
I'm still getting. I swear, I'm still getting people asking me if they should start Taysom Hill. I'm not kidding. How are you still in? How have you not been eliminated? He has seven total yards over the last 2 weeks, and people are like, "Do I start him this week?" I'm like, "What do you think, dude?"
No.
21 feet.
21 feet of football, dude. That's all you need if you're Taysom Hill.
I think people just want some reassurances that they're not like galaxy braining the situation, because people tend to overthink during the season as is. And then when it comes to the championships, everybody is overthinking everything. And I think that that's where a lot of the questions come from. At least I hope that that's where they come from, and that people still aren't rationally wanting to start Taysom Hill. I think, or hope, that it's a galaxy brain situation. So, oh man.
He's going to score 2 touchdowns this week, right?
Probably. Most likely, yeah.
Minimum.
Easily.
Absolutely.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, fantasy championships looking good. Did not make the Kings Classic final this year. The back-to-back dream is dead, but Curtis Patrick beat me by more points than I scored, so maybe it was just written in the stars.
Oh. One of those ones.
This week was weird, though. I got eliminated from Battle of the Sexes Best Ball, which is a super flex. I lost Joe Burrow, but I had Brock Purdy. And so Alvin Kamara was in my flex, my super flex, with 8 points. The scoring in this league, Purdy ended up with -4 points. I went into this game thinking, yeah, he can get 13 points easy. Like, this is going to be fine. -4 points. And I got eliminated from the cutoff by 5 points. What happened to last week? It was so weird.
I got one of those too. The kid I'm playing against in the championship in one league, going into the last game, it was the other guy had Brock Purdy and was up by 5 points going against his Jake Moody. So he was already writing his goodbyes, and he ends up winning that matchup.
Oh, no.
That's, fantasy can be a cruel mistress. And that's, it's funny. I say will be. It probably might be me drafting best ball teams in about a month. We'll remember that. People will remember that drafting Brock Purdy, that he could slide around us based on the recency bias of, he only scored -4 points, in the high leverage weeks. I can't even say it. It
happens. Yeah, it happens all the time. It used to happen to Zeke all the time. It used to happen to Russell Wilson all the time, where for some reason those last couple games they were just terrible. Whereas there are other players that when championships come around they just go crazy. Derrick Henry, for instance, right?
Mike Evans
down the stretch. Mike
Gabe
Evans.
Davis.
Yeah, so
right.
You got to be careful about those
always
biases.
The thesis of the play with Gabe Davis.
You know what? You know what this year is going to be? It's going to be Travis Kelce this week against the Bengals, which is an amazing matchup, and then the final week of the season, which doesn't count for fantasy, but next year when we start looking at stats, we really don't sit down and rule out the last week, do we? Right? We just look at the stats from the year. He has the Chargers, who earlier this year against the Chargers had 12 for 179 and a touchdown. So what's going to happen here is Travis Kelce is going to have 2 even reasonable weeks, right? Because TJ Hawkinson's out and he's the kind of the points leader in most formats. He's going to have 2 reasonable to good weeks and finish as the tight end 1. He's already the tight end 1 in points per game. And then when next year rolls around, people, might still have a little bit of that. Oh, is he this good? Is he that good? Someone's going to take him in the second round. or at the very least the 3rd round. So when all is said and done, he'll probably be the tight end 1, and next year he'll probably still be the first tight end off the board. So that's the way it goes in fantasy football.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not gonna lie, I am very excited to talk to you guys. Hopefully on maybe our first show back, we can talk about projected ADP and where we think players are going to land. I'm actually very excited about that because I was thinking about just the tight end position. Like there's going to be so much turnover with Mark Andrews coming back from injury. Obviously, TJ Hawkinson tore an ACL and MCL, so that's going to affect him. We've got Trey McBride, Sam Laporta, David Njoku, Evan Engram. We've got all these guys. So the tight end position is actually pretty fruitful, but seeing where these guys land and in what order is going to be interesting to kind of parse out.
I'll tell you though, dude, the free agency and the draft always murders the tight end position. Like just when you think, right? Because very few teams actually truly build around the tight end. So very few teams at the end of the year sit there and say, okay, Mark Andrews is our star, so we're going to build around in other ways. So you look around, Laporta probably will, right? And maybe McBride probably too, honestly. But some of these other guys,
top 5 guys, mean?
Right. As guys where the team looks at it and says, we don't need to add 2 wide receivers, or we don't need to add another superstar wide receiver because we have this guy. So maybe, but a few of these other guys, you have to be careful because
depending on how high Brock Bowers goes in the draft, that could be another guy that, if he goes in the top 10, that could be a guy you build your offense around too.
Speaking of Cardinals wide receivers and who's the star and who's not,
I'd rather not, but go on.
I just saw a clip. I saw a clip from Hollywood Brown, and I don't know who these kids were he was talking to. They seemed like younger dudes, maybe college, but probably high school. It looked like he was playing Madden with them or something. Did you see this clip?
No.
Hollywood Brown's talking to these kids, and one of them was like, "Oh yeah, I had you on my fantasy team." And Marquise Brown goes, "You want to hear something crazy?" He goes, I've been playing fantasy since I was in high school, so I play fantasy football. He goes, I traded away myself in fantasy this year. And the kids are like, what? He goes, I started off 4-0. Hollywood's like, I started off 4-0. Guys started getting hurt. And he goes, I wasn't getting the ball in real life. He's like, I need a win out here, man. So he's like, if I'm not going to win in real life, he's like, I got to scrap something together in this fantasy league. So he's like, I'm not getting the ball, so I traded myself away, dude.
Did he say
that is the opposite of betting on yourself?
What do you say? I didn't actually. The clip I was sent was just a TikTok, so it ended there. But I'm sure he got into it.
I want to know who he traded himself for.
Yeah, it's actually a good question. If he's trading himself away, then I'll send you guys the TikTok. Maybe we can find the full video. I'm sure it's out there. But if we should be monitoring that kind of stuff because we got to be buying whoever he's buying, right?
100%.
As a dude that's absolutely connected, yeah.
Right.
It is just it's so funny. It's the opposite of betting on yourself.
Crazy. I don't know if I could ever go through with that. I know obviously a lot of NFL players, NHL, MLB, NBA, they have themselves in fantasy, and you don't hear a lot about guys trading themselves, maybe trading for themselves, but that's another discussion there.
Yeah, something tells me that he's not going to be back next year with the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I don't know if Kyler's going to be back either, which is the entire reason that they brought him over, because they were the Oklahoma teammates and they had this big connection and were such great friends, blah, 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 blah. Of course, this connection is going to work well, right? No, they cannot stay healthy. And they completely cleaned house in the coaching staff and nobody wants them.
Right.
Yeah, future Carolina Panther, Marquise Brown.
I want Kyler. Would you rather have Kyler Murray or Justin Fields if you were a team picking off the scrap? Let's say both those teams go for quarterbacks. If you were a team out there that was like, you know what, we're not getting a quarterback in this draft. Let's grab one of these guys. Who would you prefer? Would you rather have Justin Fields or would you rather have Kyler Murray? Let's assume contracts are equal.
So if you're the Falcons, basically.
Yeah.
I think I would rather have Kyler. I feel like Kyler has a little bit more passing efficiency and accuracy, but it's very, very close. It's actually way closer than I would think.
Right. I think I'll go Kyler too.
I think that is tough. I would probably lean to Kyler as well. For what Britt said, as far as just the passing's more polished. We know I would say Fields is a better athlete, but as far as an actual NFL quarterback, asking an NFL quarterback to do the things that they should be doing and working probably more within structure, I would say Kyler.
Yeah, if the teams do Like, I don't even know if they can get out of that contract, but like, it'll be interesting to see if they do move on from these players, what the contracts look like. Like, I spent a long time yesterday trying to think of what a Russell Wilson contract looks like if he does get released, and I really can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's a quarterback, and it's going to be your starting quarterback, so can it really be less than 20 million? You know what I mean? And It just feels like a lot of money, dude. It can't be less, right? Like he probably wouldn't even play for that. It seems wild. It's just a wild situation.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Let's hit some of the questions in the chat because we're starting to get them filtering in here. Let me find Mrs. Majors here. Greetings, fantasy experts. Always like being called a fantasy expert. It makes you feel good. I don't know about you guys, but
the term I prefer is professional, because expert. There are a lot of experts out there that don't give advice. You know what I mean? They just play DFS, like the guy with Chad Schrader. Like, that guy's obviously an expert, but did I say his name right? Schroeder? Is it Schroeder or Schrader? Yeah, Schrader. He's like
I think
Schroeder. Right? Schroeder. Yeah. Chad Schroeder. Like, he's like a legendary.
I think he's won the most money in fantasy history.
He's legend. He's a legend, but he doesn't like give out advice. Like, he'll argue with you on Twitter, but like, he's not like writing a column. Like, here are the guys I'm taking in my high stakes leagues.
Those are all filtered in his brain.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's gonna be being backed by like investors and stuff. Like, he's high level, but like professional. We do get paid to do this. We do take it very seriously. So professional fantasy football analysis is what we are.
Yes,
so, go on.
Absolutely.
With the question.
Absolutely. Do I play Romeo Doubs or Isaiah Likely in the flex spot? Important to also say that Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks are practicing, so that could bring and the only thing with that is that they play on Sunday night, which kind of adds a little wrinkle to that. So you'd have to really make your decision, certainly early on before you get confirmation of those guys playing. But I think I would still rather take Likely. I'm not a big tight end in the flex guy, but Likely is like the one guy where it's almost 1-for-1 from his role, Mark Andrews' role, to Likely's. I mean, you're very rarely getting that kind of route share, target share in a Ravens offense where it's Zay Flowers and Likely, and it's just a bunch of Jags.
You would think I would be a big tight end in the flex guy, but outside tight end premium, I'm really not. Like, I prefer I first of all, I wait on tight ends, so I don't really usually end up with Kelsey and somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Or like these high-end decisions usually. And I just feel like unless it's like a 14-team league or more or a premium, you can just find other options. And that's one of the biggest things that people get tricked by, that have to correct a lot, is that people think of the scarcity at tight end and they picture a game of like 5 catches for 58 yards and a touchdown. They think, wow, that's a great tight end game. But like, when you get that from Stephon Diggs, you're pissed. You know what I mean? Like, so in comparison, there really aren't too many tight ends you start the flex. In this case, though, I'm with you, Kev. I think I do go that way. The practice report yesterday, no Christian Watson, no Dontavian Wicks, but Luke Musgrave was limited and Jaden Reed was limited. So those guys could play. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it, right?
Yeah, I think this is tough for me because I'm actually waiting on the Packers practice reports from today to finish writing my matchup previews. That's the only one that I have left, is the player for the Packers. Because if all of these players come back and play, then it throws this entirely different wrench into the situation. Now, the situation with Miami, Likely saw only a handful of targets last week, but he was playing up against San Francisco. The game script was very in their grasp, very in control. I think that this Miami game is going to be a little bit more back and forth. Miami's also not great in DVOA versus the tight end. So I think I am going Likely.
Last year, this Miami Ravens game was not back and forth. It was back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back.
That was ping pong.
Yeah, it was. Yes. I think there was almost 200 snaps played in that game, offensive snaps, because it went to overtime too, right? Like, it was 80 something points. Obviously, you're not going to project that for the 80 points, but the over under is close to 50.
Yeah, that was like the week you were min cashing if you scored like 200 points in DFS, like that week, because everybody had Tyreek Hill, Lamar, Waddle.
Waddle would catch it, 60-yard touchdown. Rashad Bateman caught one and took it for like 60 yards. Like, it was just bonkers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be nice if they did that again, because I got a lot of Isaiah Likely.
Actually, that's like the one because I have a finals team in the Pomeranian. That's like the one stack I don't have. I had them in like every other league, but Detroit to Dallas is like the one everybody has.
Right.
That is the most like Underdog came out with their most rostered players, and like Jared Goff, Monterey St. Brown, Sam Laporta. Obviously, Amari Cooper was number one just because 50 points is going to get you there. But
right,
yeah,
Christian McCaffrey is obviously a guy that just scores every single week. So
for sure. And then with Stroud playing, starting at Collins and Brown, I mean, yeah, I mean that's clearly they're gonna get that bump up. It's the Tennessee Titans pass funnel. I think
this hat's too warm.
Come on.
It's making me tired.
Oh my gosh.
I can't believe you guys let me peer pressure wearing this hat. It's too hot. Dude, I also, right before the show, stepped on, I got a splinter in my foot, dude. And my wife's not home. So, like, it's just the rest of my life now. So,
well,
but back to what
you had a good run.
Sorry to interrupt with what's going on over here. But, it's going rough.
I didn't play the breaking news clip. Should I?
Breaking news, this hat's too warm and my foot hurts. Back to you, Kev.
Yeah, first one.
Oh man, Adam Bernard in the chat, coveting clutch. You had a good run.
Yeah, I'm toast, man. I'm done, dude.
Womp womp.
Oh my God.
To the question at hand.
All right, start those players. Yeah, start them both.
Yeah,
I think
totally good with Noah Brown too. Yeah.
Ridiculousness. Can everybody tell that it's the holidays? That it's the holiday week, and we're all just discombobulated. Don't know what day of the week that it is.
I was doing great. This hat's just a major setback, dude. I'm like, what am I trying to do today?
Well, I'm sorry it's not snowing there for you to be able to regulate your body heat enough to.
It's snowing here.
What?
Yeah.
I thought snow was
extinct. That's why I'm wearing the hat. That's why I'm wearing the hat, because it's snowing.
It's snowing in Arkansas right now?
Yeah.
Arkansas?
Kev, have you guys got snow yet?
Like a little bit. Like not much. Like a dusting.
Dude, the weather here, man. The global warming has hit here. In Boston area, we're getting like hot jungle rain this week. Like it's like warm rain.
Jungle rain.
It's like jungle fog coming up from the ground out here.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's awesome. Chris Sellers, who has his own YouTube account, just want to make sure that's well known. Keeper question: it's early, but wonder what you guys think he gets in the second, or take Laporta in the 10th. Gibbs is going to be. I mean, it all depends on.
You keep Laporta.
Yeah,
you can get
Gibbs back.
Exactly.
He's probably gonna be a 3rd round pick.
You can get Gibbs or a Gibbs-like player, right? I think Gibbs could even creep his way into the back end of the 1st round, but like the next Gibbs you can get there. You're getting the next Laporta in the 10th round is possible, but we have to remember that a lot of these guys will be scraped off the wire. Like a lot of people, Laporta didn't get drafted in a lot of leagues, and you could have added him week 1. If you were paying attention, you could have added, you saw Zach Ertz get 10 touchdowns and 10 receptions in the first 3 out of 4 games, or 10 targets in the first 3 out of 4 games. The moment he went down, you could have added Trey McBride. The moment Mark Andrews went down, you could have added Isaiah Likely. So you could find those guys, but drafting them is a different story, So keeping him in the 10th is just kind of a slam dunk, right?
That's what I think too. Yeah. This is our big money league where you're allowed to keep 1 rookie and 1 veteran, and it moves up.
That's
around that you drafted him. You can only keep them for 3 years. If you keep them for 2 years, then it halves the round that you kept him in the year prior. The 3rd year halves that half.
Okay.
So it's like it kind of throws a wrench in there. But yeah, I think the way that tight end has been just so hit and miss, all the Kyle Pitts, the Dallas Goddards, the Dalton Schultzes out there, and then getting Laporta in the 10th, like, you're already set, so you don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, knowing that information makes it even better to keep Laporta, because you can hypothetically keep him twice. Whereas Gibbs, you can only keep him, unless you're going to keep him for a 1st round pick, which you probably don't, you can only keep him really once. So
yeah,
it makes Laporta even better.
Yep.
Absolutely. Tyson Carter, CEH if Pacheco's out, DeMarcus Robinson, Scary Terry, or Deontay Johnson in PPR flex. I have already forgotten that Deontay Johnson exists. So that's about where I am here. Washington gets San Francisco. DeMarcus Robinson against the Giants and CEH, likely without Pacheco because it's hard enough to get cleared from concussion protocol when you play on a Sunday. He played on Monday. Obviously, Jerick McKinnon on IR, so that is interesting there as far as a volume play. What do you guys think? And then I'll weigh in as well.
I would if Pacheco's out, I'm definitely starting CEH personally with McKinnon out as well. But I do want to hear Britt's thoughts on DeMarcus Robinson because even if you're starting CEH, I know that you feel pretty good about Robinson this week. No, Britt?
I do. I think that you do start CEH just because that volume is there and you know that you're going to get that volume. Plus against a Bengals run defense that ranks, I think, 26th in DVOA. And then they lost another one of their defensive linemen a couple weeks ago. So they're going to be even worse against the run. So I think you have to start him. But as far as DeMarcus Robinson goes, he really has taken on this role over the past few weeks. And it seems like Stafford is not looking at Cooper Kupp as much as he was, which is really weird. But it's Puka Nacua and then DeMarcus Robinson getting these red zone looks. I mean, he scored a touchdown, I think, in 4 consecutive weeks. His targets have kind of ticked up, even with these other guys in there. And then against the Giants. I mean, the Giants are just not good at all on defense whatsoever. Adoree Jackson's been okay and did intercept Jalen Hurts a little bit last week, but for the most part this season, he hasn't been there. I think that with those red zone looks that Robinson is looking or getting, if you're looking to find somebody who is splashy, who is just getting hot at the right time, I think that Robinson is that guy.
Yeah, CH would be certainly the volume play. DeMarcus Robinson stole that man's job. And Coop, nice fan, by the way.
Carry on. I'm just warm.
Talk
about getting hot at the right time. Me and DeMarcus Robinson.
Yeah, you and DeMarcus Robinson are getting hot at the right time. Outright just stole Tutu Atwell's job and his lunch money and his milk money, all of that.
You know what DeMarcus Robinson is, Kev?
A professional wide receiver.
Bingo. That's it, dude. That's it. Bingo card. That one. Teams keep signing these guys for a specific reason, man. This guy's he's a pro. He's not a star, but he'll always have a spot in this league, Kev.
That's really funny because I was thinking that before while Britt was talking, and I forgot about it.
I think because the fan, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know a lot of what's going on in here anymore, but yeah. I mean, now I'm thinking between CH and Robinson. Give me Robinson. PPR.
Nope. CH.
I'm doing it.
I'm leaning CEH as well. The volume's just guaranteed.
The
thing about Robinson too, this week I'm very concerned that the Rams are going to get out to a big lead and it's just going to be Kieran Williams the entire way. At least with CEH, you know that volume is going to be there because he's pretty much the only guy.
But and then on the other side, I would think Tyrod Taylor can probably run more of a functional offense for the Giants, and the Rams aren't exactly world beaters on defense either. So the Giants could kind of maybe it takes is like a Slayton deep ball, Saquon to break one off, and they can that seems like a game that maybe the Giants can stay in and maybe score a little bit, maybe 24, 28 points, and the Rams beat them. But it's a good DFS game, I think, with Rams Giants. I think that's going to be a sleeper game.
Yeah, I want to ask you guys real quick because I disagreed with Bob Harris on this yesterday. And the question was, oh my God, we were very close. We like both players. That's the thing. But he liked one player more than I did. And the question was, let's assume both Pacheco and Josh Jacobs are out. Who do you like better? Do you like better CEH going up against the Bengals, or do you like Zamir White going up against the Colts?
I like Zamir White. I think I was a little bit worried about how they're going to parse out that run game with Amir Abdullah, and I guess Brandon Bolden's going to be like a 5-snap player now and get like random goal line touches or get green zone touches. But Zamir White was actually pretty impressive. I know he didn't really factor in the receiving game that much, but all you're really looking for in that case is like 60 yards and a touchdown. Anything else is bonus.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly that I'm going with CEH here. though, honestly, because I like the player on the better offense. Matchups be damned. And where the Raiders
is it a better offense though?
Well,
I mean, no, I know.
Let me finish though, because the Raiders, although their point totals have really crept up over the past 3 weeks, a lot of that is due to their defensive scoring. Their defense has put up pick sixes and turnovers and things like that have gotten them in good situations. I think that their actual offense in the past 4 weeks has only scored 1 touchdown. So a lot of these points are coming from defense. And I get the carries that Zamir White's getting, and we can all appreciate like an every down back like he is, but CEH is going to be in that position too. And I believe firmly that the Chiefs, even though they've stumbled, even though they haven't looked great, are the better offense.
It's a divisive topic. Britt, you are on my side on this one. Kev, you're on the side of Mr. Bob Harris. So we'll have to see who's right. Let's see who's right.
We're divided. We're divided.
We will see who is on the right side of history next week on Lightning Round. Also, he did say Engram or Trey McBride. Arizona going up against Philly, Jacksonville against Carolina.
Yeah, so if it's any sort of PPR, it's got to be McBride, especially if it's full PPR. I know both of them are great. I have them back to back, but Carolina has been pretty good against the tight ends this year. And also, this whole narrative of people saying, oh, CJ Beathard's going to be great for Evan Engram. You know what would be great for Evan Engram? The starting quarterback. Because Evan Engram was doing really well with Trevor Lawrence. Like Evan Engram has 5 targets at least in every single game of this season. Last week, he in the last three of the last 4 weeks, he has 9+ targets, right? Why would a different quarterback all of a sudden somehow be better? That's not how it works. He could have just as many targets, but they are going to be worse targets. They're going to not be on the same page the way that he and Trevor Lawrence are. So for me, that's the difference maker. If Trevor Lawrence finds a way to play, which I mean he has somehow all year long, then it'd be a lot closer. But again, Carolina's pretty good against the tight ends, and the Eagles, that pass funnel, tight ends have been doing really well against them. And DVOA, I think they're like the sixth worst team or 5th worst team the Eagles are. So shout out to FTN, the guys over there do a great job with that. So it is crazy. Carolina, the most interesting one when it comes to DVOA and the numbers, because if you look at the raw numbers, tight ends against Carolina are scoring like the 6th fewest points, right? Like, so they have not allowed a lot of receptions to tight ends, but DVOA actually says that they're not that good against the tight end. So I don't know. It's hard to say sometimes who to believe, right? I usually try and factor in more than just those 2 things. And personally, I just don't like Carolina because of it.
Yeah. I mean, I think DVOA with Carolina has a lot more to do with the fact that you can just run all over them. Right. And nobody has to pass. So it's just the numbers aren't there. It's a game script situation. So I tend to lean towards DVOA. And that's why I'm going with Trey McBride, especially if Hollywood Brown is out yet again this week.
Yeah,
it's like the Cardinals defense is like the Cardinals defense isn't good against the tight end. It's just it's a choose your own adventure of how you want to destroy this team, right? Mm-hmm. Like Christian McCaffrey had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's like the path of least resistance.
Jamar Chase had 3 touchdowns. So did George Kittle in his 2 games against the Cardinals? He had 1 catch the first game, and in the second game he had 2 catches. Is that because George Kittle is bad or the Cardinals defense is good? No, it's because basically you just take the easiest way, and then Christian McCaffrey scores 3 TDs, and everyone gets back on the bus.
Yep. Easy game.
Yeah, so
for sure.
There you go.
Again, I am struggling with my defense from Mark here. I have Dallas. My opponent has 3 Lions players. Do you think I can roll with Dallas or maybe pick up Raiders or Jacksonville?
I'll chime in here as
what's the latest on Jonathan Hankins? Is he going to play again this year or is he done?
So he's officially questionable, waiting on practice reports to come out for today, but I'm thinking that he is more doubtful than purely questionable, just based on what I've kind of seen around there. Not only that, but they did also release Rashaan Evans yesterday, leaving them only 3 linebackers who are healthy on the active roster. They're going to have to bring somebody up from the practice squad or sign somebody from another one, which is not great news because if something happens to our linebackers, they need to take a break. They have an injury. Like this linebacker core is going to be a big liability. I think that you can get some turnovers from Jared Goff, but in my gut and as a Cowboys fan, I'm very concerned about this game. It also has the highest over-under total of the entire weekend. So I don't think that I'm rolling with Dallas. I'm actually looking at picking up the Raiders defense this week. Like I mentioned earlier, they have been just completely crushing it with turnovers and defensive touchdowns. They also get the Colts, who may or may not be without Michael Pittman. If that happens, they only put up 10 points against the Falcons last week. I think that the Raiders and this new coaching change has really benefited them. And I think that they're my favorite defense this week.
I saw the Rashawn Evans thing and I was like, oh, drug charges. Oh, no. But then it turns out it was marijuana.
It was weed, but it's completely illegal in Texas.
In Texas, yeah. So
don't mess with Texas.
Yep. Not even medical.
So eligible to sign with, like 29 teams.
Pretty much, yeah. Basically.
Sellers back. Who do you guys like better this week, Josh Allen or Brock Purdy? Brock Purdy renaissance en route this week against the our Commanders, who will not be trotting out Sam Howell, unfortunately, but we still persist. It's Brock Purdy week.
What do you think, Britt? I'm checking my rankings just to make sure.
Oh, Sellers knows. We talk about it. I think that I'm going Josh Allen here because they've kind of played down to their competition, and I think that it'll be closer than, I'm not offending the Patriots by any means, but, they always give them a good game and a tight game. With Purdy, I think that the spread is just so big that it's just going to be a run game. They're not going to have to throw because they're going to be able to run all over them. So even though they can, they're just not going to. It goes back to that path of least resistance that we were talking about earlier. So I'm going with Allen.
Yeah, and part of it is that the Bills too have been able to run all over teams, and people complain about the Bills offense, but the Bills have been winning a lot of these games now. You know what I mean? They just barely lost to the Eagles. They beat the Chiefs. They beat the Cowboys. They beat the Chargers. They've been running all over teams, but you can't really do that in the Patriots. Patriots, are last I checked, number 1 in DVOA against the run. So I'm with you. I think James Cook is going to catch a bunch of passes. Stephon Diggs might have a tough game, but these guys are going to be fine. And I did read an article where they asked Sean McDermott about Dalton Kincaid, and he was like, look, he's been dealing with some injuries. We had a bunch of plays where he was the first look last week, and they just took those plays away. This guy's going to continue to be a focal point of the offense, he said. Right? I don't trust him for fantasy, but for the quarterback, for Josh Allen, it's good to know that they still believe in the weapons. They believe in Diggs. Gabe Davis could have 0 catches. He could have 3 touchdowns. You never know. So I don't know. I'm with it on Josh Allen. I have Brock Purdy very close. He's, obviously a good start as well, but the stingers, right? I'm a little worried about the stingers. I saw Sam Darnold on the field last week. I don't like that.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, not great. I just think that you got to give the guy a little bit of a, let him throw through it a little bit, wanting to get his confidence kind of back, because this is probably the worst game that he's had in his career. And then you look at Josh Allen, the 2 previous games before the last 2 weeks, 51 pass attempts against the Eagles, 42 against the Chiefs, and then 15 against Dallas, 21 against the Chargers. You got to split the difference there, and then you add the rushing component. So I mean, both guys are going to be top 3, 4, but I mean, I don't know if you can really parse one over the other, but there's good people on both sides.
I mean, the ceiling is crazy. The ceiling is crazy for Purdy, right? If I go through and look at it and you ask me who has the best chance to throw 4, or who has the best chance to throw 5 touchdowns this week, Purdy's on or at the top of that list, right? As you look at Jalen Hurts against the Cardinals, it's not necessary, Dak against the Lions, that's one, right? They could get chucking in that game. I could see CJ Stroud, but some of these other ones, I just don't, I wouldn't predict Mahomes to throw 5 touchdown passes. It's just why they don't need to do that,
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't. Albert, hello. Appreciate you as always, my friend. Let me see what we got here. Of course, Better Boss chiming in. Got to tighten up the old collar here. 16 leagues down to 1 remaining team of the finals. Here's hoping for a championship. I never thought I'd have Javonte Williams would be healthy and sharing with 2 other running backs. Welcome to the Denver Broncos. where nothing goes right and everybody stinks.
And everybody gets fired.
Eat at Arby's.
There it is, dude.
The whole Broncos thing.
I was in 6 semifinals last week and I lost 4 of them. A lot of those, three of those teams had Michael Pittman. So I had to scramble for a new wide receiver after he was cleared and then uncleared. So, yeah. But I mean, dude, it's tough. I've said it on a couple shows this week. The best measure of your ability in fantasy football is making the playoffs. That to me, making the playoffs, like what happens after that in the Plinko machine of fantasy football playoffs is what it is. You know what I mean? And obviously, you know, there's some skill to winning, but making the playoffs is the best measure of your ability.
Yeah. Other than that, it's welcome to variance.
Right.
Yeah.
Juan Pena here. Kyler Murray, Stidham, Tyrod Taylor, Nick Mullins, Mason Rudolph, or Jacoby Brissett on the wire. I mean, I love
Kyler this week.
Yeah, I would still take Kyler here.
The Eagles have just been so bad against quarterbacks and against the passes and against the tight end as well. It's not just wide receivers. So at least he has that weapon in Trey McBride. At least he still has a little bit of his legs, even though they're not 100% of his legs.
Little baby legs.
And they're going to be so far behind in this game that Murray's going to have to throw a ton.
He's in another tier compared to those guys.
Yeah.
Though Tyrod intrigues me in DFS, but you know, no Mullins with no TJ Hawkinson and no now Nick Mullins is just Jake Browning too, right? Now that he's missing weapons.
KJ Osborne is his Tyler Boyd and
Stick.
You know, Johnny Munt is his Tanner Hudson. There you go.
It was kind of surprising that Johnny Munt ran more routes than Josh Oliver last week. I don't think that happened.
A little bit, yeah. I think that flips now that they've got a week to prepare.
I ain't starting either of those clunky boys though.
Clunky
you know,
boys.
someone is somewhere though, and that's
a problem for them.
Yeah, that's got a New Year's resolution written all over it.
Yeah.
Start clunky boys in fantasy.
Juan Pena, shout out Framingham, dude. Yeah, Framingham's what's up. I'm in Rentham, brother. But yeah, I got friends and family in Framingham. Really a big Brazilian population over there, dude. Love those folks, dude. Those are my people. Brazilian steakhouses, man, that's my joint. And have you guys ever heard of Farofa?
No, I've heard of Texas Day Brazil though.
Yeah. The Brazilian steakhouse is have you ever been to a Brazilian steakhouse, Britt?
No.
So the way it works is you just pay for it's not like, oh, I'm gonna order a steak. You just pay like a flat rate for like the whole event, right? Which is depending, can be expensive, but what happens then is you have this little card on your table that you flip over, right? So you have it on green or red, and people come around with just different cuts of meat, like all these crazy meats,
big skewer or something like that. Yeah.
And if you want them to come to you, you have it on green, and they come by and they've got like chicken or steak or whatever, and you say, oh yeah, give me some of that, or you say no, thank you. And then if you're full, you flip it to red. So like it is just a full fat bowl experience. It is incredible.
Yeah. I could eat like 2 pieces though. That would be so sad.
But Sellers would
put it down.
Sellers would be in heaven, dude. Sellers would move in. He would get an apartment above one of those if they had one.
Sellers, if you're still watching, look up Brazilian steakhouses. Our anniversary is tomorrow. Hint, hint.
Check it out, dude. And I'll tell you. So farofa is this like it's like fried cassava flour. And dude, when you have rice and beans, my roommate in college was from Brazil, so we went down there. You just put it on your rice and beans, and it's like this little like crunchy stuff, dude. It transforms it into a whole nother thing. I drive up to Waltham, Mass, just to go to this one Brazilian store to get like a supplies of it for the entire year because it's that good. So shout out Framingham, Massachusetts, dude. That's what I'm trying to say.
We got there. Definitely got there. Juan back in. Who for my wide receiver 1-2 flex? Jefferson, Rice, DeMarcus Robinson, Lockett. Jacoby Myers, Amari Cooper, CH, Zamir White. So we're combining a bunch of topics that we already have discussed here, and now we get to do this is our homework. Is getting a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, and a flex. Jefferson's in. I would say Rice has got to be in there, and now we're just really deciding on a flex. That's for me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, same. So we're just deciding. I don't know if Cooper is going to go tonight. And I know that everyone wants to play him, but even if he does go against that Jets defense that's been very good against the wide receiver, I'm just a little out on
I
him.
jinxed him because when I did the graphic for Lightning Round, I did that right after the early games. So I put him on there, and now I think I might have jinxed him. So I do apologize.
No.
Amari Cooper Nation.
I think in this situation, I'm going to go with CEH as for what reasons we already talked about.
Right.
But I know that you're on the Zamir White train, so we're going to have a split.
But hopefully, the thing is, though, we're probably not even going to get there because, one of those guys could play. You never know. So if one of Pacheco or Josh Jacobs plays, then the decision to me becomes very easy.
True.
Yeah. With you guys on that. Jack here. Juwan, Cade, or Tanner Hudson. My only weak spot in my life going into my finals. I picked the wrong one each week. Coop, the resident tight end. The professional tight end expert.
How'd this happen, Jack Straw? Who's out there, dude? Let me know who's on the wire, because there are some guys that I potentially like ahead, depending how the injuries shake out. Like Tucker Kraft's not out there, Chigakonkwo is not out there. If they're not, Juwan Johnson did run 70% of the snap, 70% of the routes this week. He's just very scary because they have Foster Moreau and they have Jimmy Graham and they have Taysom Hill. Cade Otton has been since Chris Godwin has gotten healthy, he's just not getting targeted. Right. And Tanner Hudson ran the most routes he's run all year this week, but he's still not a full-time guy. I think honestly maybe Tanner Hudson, but that's tough. I'd probably just go Tanner Hudson. Chiefs aren't a good matchup though.
Yeah, you're really hoping the dude just gets in the end zone and like that. You're not getting much. You're getting like 2 for 14 if you get lucky.
Right. Well, if you're rooting for just a touchdown, then maybe Juwan's the way to go. He has touchdowns in back-to-back weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Cade kind of makes his bones in there too. It's tough, and that could be a shootout too. Tampa, New Orleans.
I know. It's just like Cade has just been invisible, man. Yeah. There was a stretch there where Godwin was dealing with the neck and the elbow and the knee and all that stuff. And
dude was like an every week 4 for 49 and a touchdown.
6 targets, 9 targets. Now he's getting like 2.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it tough. Justin, full QB, lost Herbert, had a first round bye. Now looking at Flacco, Minshew, or Derek Carr. Please help. Derek Carr for me.
I love Carr.
Nothing wrong with Carr. Love Shaheed this week. I put him on the cover of my target report bullet points. I do think he's got a fantastic matchup and can definitely play over his skis this week in rosters.
Back-to-back 3 touchdown weeks. And honestly, since Taysom Hill hurt his foot, I'm wondering if Taysom Hill is like good to go, which if all year long you were able to take the Wildcat Taysom Hill quarterback plays just out of the game, just think about what Derek Carr's stats would look like. All like, because Taysom Hill's thrown a couple touchdown passes, he's run a couple in, and we don't care about him catching them. But if you just took that off the table completely, Derek Carr would be a QB1.
Yeah.
And Alvin Kamara would be a lot better too.
I know. First, you.
Yeah, could use that on our certainly our pros versus Joe's.
Taysom Hill, just a vulture, dude. He's a leech on society.
No place for that here. Standard league need to stream a tight end. Chig Okonkwo, Tucker Kraft, Gerald Everett, and defense Chicago Jets and Raiders. Thank you and happy holidays, Fantasy Alarm team.
Those are good options.
Yeah, probably going Chig just based on the last few weeks. He's been getting with Josh Wiley out, with another one of the
Trevor
Wesco's the other tight end's been out. So really it's been the consummate blocking tight end, Kevin Rader. Yeah.
Wasn't that the name of like that BTK serial killer? What was that guy's name? Dennis Rader. Dennis Rader. Should we call Kevin Rader the BTK tight end?
Well, apparently it runs in the family because there's another Raider. I forget it. Kevin Rader's brother played for the Falcons too.
There you go, dude. He's a killer.
Speaking of Raiders for defense, I'm also gonna go with the Raiders.
Yeah,
I kind of like.
I was trying to get there to kind of just.
Yeah, I kind of like the Bears though, but the Raiders have been hot. I mean, you're basically just starting Max Crosby, right? Like that's
pretty much.
Yeah. Montez Sweat's been good, and Eddie Jackson's back. I don't know. I kind of like the Bears. Yeah.
I just like the little dividing line here for me is the turnover and touchdown potential that the Raiders have been getting recently, and that's why they come out on top. But I do still like the Bears.
Robert Spillane's an animal.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I guess the
grown-ass man.
The Jets are a good real life defense, but because of the zone they play, it makes teams just not even throw the ball like at all. Like they just how do you get turnovers? They don't even throw it at Sauce Gardner. They just don't even throw it his direction. Same with DJ Reed. Like they just, I mean, it's not conducive to turnovers, that defense. It's just like putting out a cigarette. The Jets.
They have 19 interceptions on the year.
Well,
Sauce Gardner has 0.
Yeah, because they don't throw to him, and I'm very excited to.
This is the week Sauce Gardner as a pick. Put it in the books. I'm changing my underdog pick for the next show to Sauce Gardner anytime interception.
Juan back in Rams, Colts, or Jags. Jags, free square.
Yeah, I'm starting the Jags in a championship. So you and me together, Juan. Let's go, Massachusetts connection, baby.
Takes Juan to know Juan.
That's right, dude. Yep. Let's go.
I am starting the Rams in one league, but that's because the guy picked up 4 different defenses and is holding them on his bench.
I love that guy.
Yeah, I think I just say you're scared. Just say that you're scared. If you're going after defenses, just say that you're scared.
What a dude. Impemba should have did that to me. Yeah, I didn't put in any waiver claims, and I woke up yesterday and going against Impemba in a championship matchup, my defense was the Bengals against the Chiefs. So he could have gone, Impemba could have gone out and added a bunch, but he didn't care either.
Ann in the chat, PPR Pollard to Javonte. Man, Javonte was a disappointment to me this season. You and me both. Certainly Pollard has been too 3 rounds earlier, but in the battle of disappointing running backs, looks like Pollard for me. That split's gotten nasty between Javonte and P. Ryan and Jaleel McLaughlin. Like we thought it was Javonte in like the middle of the season where he's getting up to like 65-70% of snaps, and then it's just reverted back to like a 3-way gross split.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do we miss Geeked Out Gaming's question from the Twitch gang?
I haven't seen that in there, but
neither have I.
Large question from Twitch gang.
Ooh.
Twitch gang. He wants to know Superflex, Flacco or Fields? Quick, rapid fire.
Fields.
Mike Evans, Michael Pittman in if he plays. After that, Addison's probably out. Would you start Hopkins, Dubs, or DJ Moore? DJ Moore, right?
DJ Moore.
Yep.
And Njoku at tight end.
Locked in.
If not one of the above options at flex. The rest of that question is confusing to me, so we will move on.
Reading's tough.
Reading's too
I was elected to lead, not to read.
These Twitch glasses are cool, but they are difficult to read with. All right. Next question in the chat.
I'm trying to get because I lost where I was.
Mark Wilson.
There we go. I was worried about Breece Hall tonight. Would you start CH over Hall? I have Achane, but he is not the same lately. No, he is not. Mike McDaniel's come out and said that he's getting healthier as well, but really hasn't translated to production on the field. I am also worried about Breece Hall. He is my RB1 in my finals Pomeranian team, and I'm kind of only looking for screenshot equity because I want to see him get like a 2-yard rush and then screenshot it real quick to see that I'm at the top of the pod.
Yeah, that'd be
old.
Nice. I will say, go ahead, Brett.
I'm not too worried about him tonight because of the amount of targets that he's been seeing. Right. Like he is pretty much. I know that Izzy Abanikanda is kind of sprinkled in there, here and there, whatever. They're not going to have that luxury tonight. Breece Hall's going to get all the action. He's going to get the targets. I'm not worried about him tonight.
If we get a Rappaport or Schefter tweet that says Isaiah Pacheco's been ruled out, then I might start CH. But otherwise, I'm just going to start Hall tonight because we don't know if Pacheco is going to play or not. And if Pacheco plays, then you're deciding between CH and Achane. I don't know if I love it. Mostert is like the goal line dog, though Mostert's been banged up too. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's supposed to quote play through.
That's what they said,
which is not great.
The way that team handles injuries seems bad.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle's unlikely to play, but he's basically like the way Mike McDaniel's handling it is he goes to the player and says, "Hey, how do you feel?" And then if they say good, then they get to play. Like DeAndre Hopkins would never miss a single game. Right.
Right.
Remember the time DeAndre Hopkins got ruled out by the training staff and he snuck out of the locker room and played like 5 more snaps, and then they
Brett Favre did that too.
Yeah, they like dragged him out of the game. So like, that whole philosophy is probably why Jalen Waddle has perpetually gone to the blue tent every single week.
He gets
maybe if you just took 1 week and just let him relax for 1 week, then maybe he would not have 17 different injuries right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to get into, we'll finish up with some of the questions if we have time here real quick, but it's what we've all been waiting for. We get to build a showdown lineup for Jets and Browns.
Hooray. This one's actually not nearly as bad as we've had some bad ones.
I thought it was going to be gross when I was building mine earlier, and I was like, no, actually, there are a lot of decent options.
Yeah. You know why it's not gross, Britt? Is because you can only start players from this game.
Right.
So when I look at other matchups, I look at this game and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to start any Browns. But if I can only start Browns and Jets, I kind of like it. Like, it's kind of fun.
Who you feeling in the captain slot here?
Kenny Yeboah, dude.
What?
Kenny Yeboah.
Kenny Yeboah, dude. Come on. He's got 1 target on this season.
I really do like Njoku this week. Even if Cooper does play, I still like him. Because it
opens
up more salary too.
Yeah.
Honestly, if Jeremy Ruckert's going to miss the game with a concussion, Kenny Yeboah anytime touchdown isn't crazy. We're not going to put him in this lineup, but I'm just saying, like, just know that name. Just know I said that name today.
Book it, clip it.
Yeah. Book it, clip it, wrap it.
We'll tweet it out later, and then it'll be like
tweet it, stack it, wrap it. Yeah, Ruckert's not going to play. He didn't clear concussion protocol. He's out. He's already ruled
sorcery. His Stone Smart sorcery is at it again.
That's right, dude.
Yes.
Made up tight end names, as Matt Jester likes to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Give us a week where Coop doesn't make an NFL player mad.
Challenge accepted.
Level impossible.
I love that Des Bryant blocked everyone but me.
And me.
Like, I was the first person to respond to that tweet and responded multiple times when he quote tweeted me. He blocked every single. The problem. I guess the problem is, I don't even want to go there.
Yeah, let's not. Let's.
Because we gotta wrap this up and finish off with the questions. I think we should go with Hall to do the Jets comeback, and that way we're not, stuck.
So Njoku, Hall,
Browns defense.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
I'd rather have them than the Jets.
Same. I think we have to start
Cedric Tillman.
Yes.
Cedric Tillman bomb 70-yard. Cedric Tillman 1 catch, 72 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
What about Marquise Goodwin?
I thought you were going to say Jason Brownlee, and I was going to say.
I almost said Gibson too. It's either of those two is like a punt guy to fit more stuff in.
I did.
What more stuff at the top do we need to where we need to punt? You can start Flacco, and then you could start like we have $8,000 left if we start $8,000 per person.
We're 72 per person right now. So if we put in who you guys want Tillman?
If you put Tillman in and Flacco, then we can start anyone we want.
Adam Bernard, our producer, Elijah Moore revenge game.
Yep.
Ooh, revenge game.
No, that's why I have to get Flacco and Elijah Moore both in there, because they're both still wearing Jets jerseys in the
picture.
Yeah.
That's right. 4,500 left. So that's in Gibson Tillman territory.
Tillman's 3,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I like Tillman more than I like Gibson or Brownlee, just because at least he's been seeing targets, and then with the added fact of Cooper potentially being out.
Yeah, he plays a ton of snaps, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Bing, bang, bong. There it is. David Njoku, captain. Breece Hall, Browns, Flacco, our Lord and Savior, and should be the NFL MVP, Joe Flacco. Elijah. If he wins this game, like, I'm starting to take it, look at some of the odds that are shifting in his favor.
Yep.
Go Flacco.
Top boy.
It is hot. So let's rapid fire some of these questions here, and we got to see the way for Alarm Fantasy Football in just a couple minutes here. Let us see where we left. Standard League, Justin Fields or Stafford, who has been on fire. Stafford against the Giants, Justin Fields against Falcons.
It's got to be Stafford
for me.
Yeah. Stafford's cooking. Giants thought they were going to start rookie corners all year and make the playoffs.
No.
In this economy?
No, it's exactly right.
No. Eckler, Zeke, or Chandler have PPR?
Zeke has been scalding hot.
And Stevenson just got put on IR, so
Zeke's like dude over the past 5 weeks. Zeke is like the RB3 behind only CMC and Kyron Williams.
Got to be Zeke.
Anytime you can have the inefficient Alvin Kamara game of 12 yards rushing and 11 targets, you gotta put him in the lineup.
He doesn't even catch him either. He looks terrible.
always the thesis: Breece Hall or Aaron Jones.
I'm going Hall.
Yeah,
I'd still go Hall. We know he can pop one off. Jones looked pretty good last week, but other than that, he doesn't look that great.
AJ Dillon hardly even played. Why even activate him if he's going to play 5 snaps?
So he could get that touchdown and vulture it from Jones, obviously.
Yeah. AJ Dillon, Damian Pierce, Tyler Algier, three-way Spider-Man.
Vultures.
Three-way Spider-Man pointing meme.
Pretty much. Where did we go here? Because it just scrolled up on me. Waddle, Flowers, or Sutton.
Waddle's out. Waddle's highly unlikely to play.
Yeah, Waddle ain't playing, high ankle sprain. So
Flowers also banged up.
Sutton might not play either.
Sutton has a concussion too.
Who's your
I would hit that waiver wire, dude.
Honestly, Brandon, if all those dudes play, then I'll probably sit Sutton with Stidham at quarterback. But the reality is that question's probably going to answer itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For sure.
Yep. Real quick, Trey McBride, Zeke, or Zamir. We'll probably take Zeke here.
I got to jump for the next show. I'll catch you guys.
All good. Right. We'll answer these two, and we are out. Coop. See you next year.
Yes.
I gotta have
Hardy Hart. We didn't answer that question. Zeke.
Zeke, Trey McBride, or Zamir.
You going Zeke?
I'm going Zeke.
Okay.
As much as it pains Kevin from August. Standard League Field Stafford. Also have Kyler on the wire. So people forgot Kyler. You still be going Stafford.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then flex spot need one. Jerome Ford, Derrick Henry, Tucker Kraft, James Cook, DJ Moore. December will be over. I'd probably be taking James Cook.
It's between James Cook and DJ Moore for me. With Cole Kmet out though, I think I really do like DJ Moore.
I do too.
Really do. In that coverage, I wrote it up in my matchup previews. It's going to come out this afternoon over on Fantasy Alarm. I go into the zone and the man that DJ Moore puts up. He crushes in man coverage. 2.66 fantasy points per target. And with Cole Kmet out, it's just going to be more targets his way.
Yep. All right, we got to get out of here because Alarm Fantasy Football is coming up at the top of the hour. So if you have questions, definitely direct them over to Howard Bender and Andrew Cooper. Britt, anything else before we hop on out of here?
Just go check out those matchup previews and check out Britt's Blitz tomorrow at 2 p.m. or at 1 p.m. Eastern, actually. Coop and I switched.
Look at that. Awesome. Target report is out on fantasyalarm.com. So check that out. Also Survivor. If you're still alive, go check that out. For Britt, for Andrew Cooper, I'm Kevin Tompkins. See you next year.